We are live once again, ladies and gentlemen. Mosey on in the live stream. This is the Please Understand podcast. If you don't know, this is Minnesota sports jibber jabber at its finest or most averagest. Either way, we'll be talking some Vikes tonight. We'll be talking Wolves. We got the JJ McCarthy crisis on our hands to dig into. We've got NBA Cup action weekly. How lucky are we around here? If you are moseying into the live stream, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to us on X/Twitter, YouTube channel. What else we got? TikTok. Got a lot of reels and posts out there that are pretty decent. So check in on that. Tap in, dock in, mosey on in, pull up a chair, open up a browser, get comfy because it's about to be some spicy Vikes talk tonight, I believe. As always, $5 cover at the door upon entry. So that is mandatory, ladies and gentlemen. So please feel free to chip in. We already got some comments coming in, probably telling me to just fuck right off. No, it's Phil reposting the live stream. What a nice gesture.
What I do,
Doing the Lord's work. As I mentioned, yes, the agenda, we've got Vikes Bears. Lot to unpack with that one. T-Wolves can't beat a winning team. Are they frauds? What's going on here? We've got kind of the opposite going on with this squad this year. We got NBA Cup dominance, though, on the other hand, which is, easy trade-off, I guess. Guess what you could say. We got some shout-outs at the end. I didn't tell you guys this. I was able to screenshot the Derek Shelton coaching staff has been established. We've got some interesting individuals here.
Can't wait.
Very. It's not as funny as the Hall of Fame nominee list you sent out the other day. That might be worth going over as well. I don't know.
That's good.
What a year! Usually there's always at least one year where it's like, all right, legend on the ballot. Who else is on? It's like, yikes from the rest of the way down for this one. But so let's dig right in here. Vikings with a tough L, 19-17 against the Bears. It's becoming tradition when we play them in US Bank that it's just ass ugly football for a majority of the day. But before we dig Vikes stuff, Phil, I feel like you might need an apology to these Bears. You've been dogging them for years, and look at them right at the top of the division, 7-3, not even fraudulent in any way. It's time for you to come down to the carpet and issue an apology.
Yeah. You're right. It's about time. I do need to send out my just deepest heartfelt apology to these Bears. Yeah, I didn't know they had it like this. 7-3, like you said, right in the thick of things in the North, and hell, I'd say even the entire NFC. But don't take my word for it. Let's go over some of the numbers from this game. Caleb Williams, 16-32, 193, 0 touchdowns, but hey, 0 picks. That's what I'm talking about. Hell of a day there. Running backs, 3.26 yards per carry as a unit. Don't even get me started on these pass catchers. We got Cole Kmet leading the way, 5 for 45. But I mean, Minnesota just wasn't ready for this Ben Johnson game plan, you guys. Time of possession, 37-23, just utter dominance. And look, okay, JJ had one of his worst overall games in Vikings history as a QB. I'll admit that, but that's because this defense shut him down. I mean, they got after him for 0 sacks, but he was under pressure all day. But nope, maybe he wasn't. But these Bears clearly in the heads of these Vikings pass catchers. I mean, they scared them into like 5 or 6 drops. Probably just heard those footsteps and the echoes of a silent U.S. Bank. and last but certainly not least, the stones on my guy Cairo Santos. Just nuts, a last-second field goal. Shouldn't even really need it in this game, but it's always sick to know you got one of the best kickers in the league to, put one kind of right down the middle. Look, man, I'm fired up. Like, last thing I got to say is this. No one's messing with this squad. Bear down, boys. The monsters of the Midway are back.
Not a believer?
Yeah. If you guys are curious about next week, you can catch my shout out to the swine next week when we do this segment all over again. So
The apology tour in full swing.
apology tour.
Love
Yep.
that.
Got to do it.
It is interesting looking at some of the stats. I mean, I'm an eye test guy. I'm old school. All right. Numbers, reading, miss me with all that shit. But just the difference with like QBR versus quarterback rating, depends on what to each their own. But I mean, we're not going to sit here and say JJ McCarthy was good at all or even bad. I mean, that was just an ass ugly performance if there ever was one, until of course,
we'll get to him
very end. But his QBR is 22, Caleb's 23.7. So it's like just back and forth, mid football all day long. And you're like, I guess someone has to win this. And you just kind of knew that he already missed one kick. And you're like, we're not getting two after they got a big kick return into I don't even know if that went into Vikes territory. It's basically midfield where you're to the point where it's like, well, you give up like one or two plays and they're kicking already. And of course, he just skanks one in like the bottom left corner. It started left, knuckling weird. And you're like, man, of course that'll go in. It's not like we deserve to win. I mean, that was pretty unenjoyable effort out of the perp.
That deserved to be a tie, honestly.
Yeah.
Both those teams. It's like nobody wanted to win that game.
No, both these teams suck. Like the Bears 7-3, like whatever. We went over this last week. Their stretch of victories, and now it looks like they might be getting the Steelers without Aaron, which tougher? I don't know.
Who's to say?
Might even be a tougher task, but we thought like, hey, it's do or die at this point, and there's no playoffs here. Like that's a pipe dream. This isn't a playoff squad, the Vikings, and it's now the JJ show, and there's a lot of heat coming out, a lot of takes. It's kind of divisive amongst the fan base. Everybody wants to rush to say, is he a bust? Or and then the other side will push back and say, have some fucking patience. And they're like, it's just this ongoing feud, and really I don't think you really have to have any takes just yet. It's like, hey, we've got, what are we, 4-6 here? We've got 7 games left, which should be like double the starts that he's had already. So it's like, this is the trial run here. All right. If you want to renew your subscription next year, we'll talk about that after the season. But like, we don't have to make any like drastic decisions on anything. It's just like, put him out there. Number one, stay healthy. It's just so we get these reps in. But this is now just like, hey, JJ McCarthy show. What are we going to see? Please show us something. Because Jake, at this point, I mean, how worried are you that he could be a bust? Because it's been looking pretty yikes. Yikes for the Vikes.
It hasn't been anywhere near pretty, and somehow it's getting worse. But it's 5 games, man. I'm not complaining or nothing like that. Finish the season. All the people asking for Max to get thrown in the game are just idiots. Why would you want that? What does that solve for the future? What does that do? That does absolutely nothing. At once. Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great thing that we need to have right now is 2 quarterbacks who don't know how to play football.
What do they say? Like the phrase in golf, like we'll see it sometimes where these guys have like 2 putters, like Adam Scott, where they're tinkering. It's like, if you have 2 putters, you have 0 putters. Okay, so you got to make a fucking pick here and ride.
Let's just chill on that. Yeah, and there's just like looking at some of the stats I've seen online too. It's just he has pretty much identical stats to Josh Allen in his first couple of games, like record yards, interceptions, turnovers. It's like right all there. So it's just like, let's just pump the brakes. I'm not saying he's going to be Josh Allen, because also there's a third quarterback that had the same stats, and there's Kyle Allen, which was an undrafted QB.
Still in the league.
Still out there, still playing.
Bring him in.
He went a different direction, but he was undrafted, not a first-round pick. So I'm going to say he gets a little closer to Josh Allen than Kyle. But let's just everybody just chill out. It's 5 games, guys. Come on, act like you've been there.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like, should we be worried? No, it's like way too early. And just think of some of the names that have been thrown out. This was all, we should know all about this from last year with Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, and now you're seeing it with Bryce Young. He threw for like almost 500 yards last week. It's just too early to label these guys a bust. As Vikings fans, we're not used to having to be patient with the young QB. So it's part of the process. It's going to be frustrating, going to be infuriating at times. But you have to see it through. You don't want to end up like the Jets, the Browns. They just recycle QBs year after year. And, it sucks. It wasn't pretty on Sunday. But then, on the flip side, you see that final drive, and he's put together some late drives like this against the Bears, twice against the Lions. You can't ignore that part of it just because the rest of it was so bad. Like there's a competitive like winning player in there, and you just got to iron out these kinks, and it just takes time. But it's way too early to have the bust conversation.
Yeah. Also, what we've seen too from him is like he has the uncoachable things. Like he has the lock in focus final drive. We've seen that a couple times.
Exactly.
He's a great leader already. We've seen that. The 9 thing is a little weird, but hopefully that can turn into something pretty dope if he starts playing better football. But it's just all the coachable things, like the footwork and the passing and making sure things are on target. Those are coachable things that you can learn and get better at. It's just all the other stuff that you need to be born with that he already has. So that's the main reason I'm keeping optimistic with him.
Yeah, dude, it's interesting how, from a Vikings fan perspective, like we're used to blowing wins and, having things go haywire on us at the end, choking away games. And he has the one thing of like the clutch gene at the end of games that's actually good. We're not used to seeing that kind of stuff, but everything else is terrible. The first 3.5 quarters and we were saying that through the first, I don't know, however many starts of his, where it's like, hey, like one good quarter here, one good quarter there. It's like, well, that you can't really be living on a thin line like you do when that's the way you play. Like that's just the razor's edge, man. It's no place to be. And
it's kind of like the opposite of Sam Darnold. He's like all the times where Sam's good is where JJ's not. But then you look last week and Sam Darnold's throwing 4 picks in a huge division game, and what do you know? He shit his pants.
That really made me feel a lot better. No disrespect
100%.
to Sam.
I know it shut up a lot of people on Twitter.
It definitely
see nobody asking for Sam coming back this week, because
that's the easy thing to go back to. Is like, look at the mistakes they made from a personnel standpoint. They let Sam Darnold out of the building. That was called the building if they're talking on like NFL Live. And yeah, he's been good, but it's like, dude, we saw it firsthand. That Lions game right into that Rams playoff game, and you're like, this is as bad as we've seen. And till JJ now, like the last couple, but we're trying to win a bowl, man. I know that sounds ridiculous to say for a team that hasn't done it, but I'm done with like, hey, a division is a nice season. It's like, yeah, great. It was a fun ride, but we don't have shit to show for it in the end. So it's like, you got to start thinking about finding your guy in the draft and having somebody for like 10 plus years, which we've never really had. And I'm not saying that that's JJ, but you got to at least give it a chance. And it's too early to panic about it. The thing that you could panic about is if he gets hurt again, then it's a different conversation. If you can't stay on the field, then I can't wait around here to develop you 4 games here, miss a month and a half, another 3, followed by another month off. Like that's not going to work. And that's what would drive a decision to maybe move on. But these are more conversations for the end of the season. Let's get to that point, see what he's done the second half of the season, and then we'll decide if we want to shit our pants collectively. See if we can organize, like a community event. But yeah, I mean, it's looked bad. There's a lot of things to be concerned about because, like you were mentioning when you were clowning the Bears, like they didn't get any sacks. It's like he's had time back there, a lot of it. And I don't know if some of it is like he doesn't go through the progressions exactly like the right timing of it all, right? Which you would imagine for a rookie who hasn't missed a whole season of football. He's still only 22. That's another thing to point out is like he's a little younger than a lot of these guys are when they do come in the league. Jaden Daniels, 24. I think Bo Nix is like 37. He was in college forever, and the obvious stuff as well, where you see him just mechanics in his throwing. Like it looks like he's just throwing 105 mile an hour heaters out there to these guys, regardless of situation. And when he does make a good throw, I mean, the accuracy is an issue. And then when he does make a good throw, it's a guaranteed drop. Because I don't know if these guys are they surprised it's on target and they can't handle it? Or is it 105 miles an hour and breaks their fingers or something? Some of them aren't that fast. Like there was one to Addison, like just a little 5-yard, swing out. And it was like just, pretty lazy effort on his part. But
Hawkinson had one too that was pretty bad.
Yeah,
at least one.
When he puts it on target, you've got to come down with it. And Jefferson too, like all these guys, these good receivers, we don't see these guys drop passes. And it's a couple a game, it seems like, when McCarthy's in there. So, I mean, you got to help him out too. We went over that last week a little bit more with the running game, kind of similar again this week. You're in this game the whole time. And Aaron Jones, 4.4 a carry, pretty solid on 16 carries. And then Jordan Mason was at 7.5 per carry again. And I don't know if that's KOC just can't dial it back to accommodate for a rookie. And maybe that's something he'll have to get better at as well these last 7 games of the season. But it's just not looking good.
They did better this week at making it more 50-50.
I 32 attempts passing compared to what was last week. It was in the 40s for sure.
Yeah. So at least you just look at like the little things as much as you can, especially when it comes to that, because we've been preaching, just run the ball a little more, So I'll take that as a positive, and hopefully they can have that more of like a 50-50 going forward, or even if it's like a 60-40 if you want to pass more. But like when it gets wild and you're not running at all, that's recipe for for disaster.
Yeah, it's tough because at the same time you're like, well, we got to develop this dude. We can't just have him be handing the ball off all afternoon and then be like, hey, we got our guy, beat the Bears 13-10. That's like we were saying, a Super Bowl, that ain't the path to a bowl. So you try to pick and choose, I guess, when it makes sense. And, it just hasn't worked out to this point. And again, some of it is just throwing the heater on every throw. He's got a fucking arm. Like he's got some, it's not like there's nothing here to work with. I just think everybody probably thought you brought in Darnold. You had all those fill-ins that season prior to that with like Dobbs and I don't know who was that other guy? Jaron Hall? Did that guy ever get in?
Hall's the rookie. We had Millens.
Yeah. He started for like one drive and then he was toast.
Yeah.
Danny Dimes was in here looking at replays and watching film.
Dimes was in here on an internship, I think. Now look at him. Generational Colts, one of the best teams ever. So you would expected that KOC would have been able to get the most out of him. And so far it seems like it hasn't really gone the way we thought, right? With, all the weapons we have invested in the line, the run game is good enough. You got a defense to help you out. And I don't think this has been KOC's best version of himself this year at all. We've gone over that too. And I think he's going to have to maybe adapt some of his tendencies as well to try to get the most out of JJ, at least this, the rest of this year. And then, go into the off season, see if you can add a little bit more to that. But that's not going to make Jefferson too happy, being like, hey, we're just running this scaled back version of the offense. I don't know what they'll do. Maybe this is just, hey, it's just an inexperienced thing. And Jake, you said it right with some of the other names that you looked at through 5 games. It's a fucking hard position to learn. And everybody's trajectory is different. Look what we saw from CJ Stroud. Came right into the league and you're like, Jesus, dude, the Texans have a top 5 quarterback. And then his sophomore year wasn't really anything too special. And Jaden Daniels is kind of going through the inverse of that. So it's like you mentioned Mayfield and Darnold. Some guys just take years before they can figure it out. So that then leads to the question of like, well, how patient can you be? We've got this ready to win now team. So we think it's a good roster. There's better out there. It's not like that's good enough. Right. It's not a Ravens, that can support Trent Dilfer style of a squad.
Drive by.
That's where's the lie?
25 years, dude. Drive by.
Where's the lie? I've heard he's a douche. So credit to me. Anybody docking into the live stream, toss a question in the comments. We'll get to it. We're trying to commiserate here on the JJ McCarthy situation as best we can. I don't think it's I'm not all out on him. It's just let's get a body of work here before we start making any decisions. The one thought I did have though, and I thought this at the time, this is my NBA mindset of tanking is just always the way to go, right? And go back to a couple years ago when Dobbs gets us that win against Atlanta, and there's a couple other wins during that stretch that may have cost us Drake May, right? If you would have been up, 5 more spots in the draft, you might have been able to come away with him at that point.
Raiders 3-0 rings a bell.
Right, 3-0 that year.
Yep.
Just what was that? I knew a bunch of buddies that went out there for that game too. What a
man,
fun one to travel to. Great,
it's a good one.
Just sitting in a arena and just watching nothing happen. And I think Jefferson might have got hurt that game too, so you didn't even really get to see.
Yeah, it was bad.
Play. So that got me thinking of like, if we could have just accepted that the season was over once Kirk went down, maybe we could have had a chance to get a better quarterback that year. But that'll be probably more of the typical Minnesota revisionist history. We'll look back at that maybe a little closer once, 5 years from now, if JJ really does turn into a bust. But I don't know. I'm trying to latch on to any little thing here with, at least we've got the clutch stuff. He came back and took the fucking lead, after looking as bad as we've seen. That was as bad a quarterback performance as, on X. Some of the folks were comparing that to a game. Who could forget the Josh Freeman Monday night?
I was just going to say that.
I was
so pumped. I was pumped when we traded for him, and I was like, man, he was cooked. Like young too, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, he was an interesting case. That was one of the toughest watches in recent memory as a Vikes fan. Where the
overthrows are what is making everybody think of that, because that's what JJ's been overthrowing people nonstop.
Yeah, and both guys just had cannons, and they're just throwing, like Freeman would be just multiple rows into the team's like bench. Like anybody was live to catch a pass that night if you had good enough seats. So we've got Green Bay coming up. And now it's you think, what's the point of this season now? 4-6. We're not making the playoffs. Like I said, I like to tank. Give me the best pick you can to add to this team. And so it becomes a situation now where it's like, I think I saw we have 10 picks as of now in this coming draft. Jake, can we allow Kwesi to spearhead this next draft?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. If anybody is getting tossed out of this organization, it's going to be him, I think. If there is somebody that has to be the sacrificial lamb of everybody thinking we had a playoff team, caliber team, and we're just missing the quarterback, because we went out and spent a lot of money. I mean, you always spend all your money because it's the cap space. But yeah, if they did cut him at the end of the season because they had to, I would not shed a tear. But if he is around, it's like, do I want to give him more chance? Maybe. Because I feel like he has the mentality to do it. Maybe now that, I don't know. I feel like he deserves at least one more draft. But if at the end of the day he doesn't, I don't care either. Get him out of here too.
Right. Yeah. That's, you ask if anybody's going to get fired or whatever. Like he would be the guy. I'm right there with you, Jake. Like I think probably deserves one more shot, before you cut him loose. But man, it's all draft related though. It's like you went out, you got the free agents, you thought you had this good team, and I don't know, the drafts have just been such a colossal failure for the most part that's the next step up after the season. So it's like, well, is this the guy we want leading the draft? I don't know, man. I also don't see KOC going anywhere. I just think it's way too early for that, unless like there's just some colossal disaster down the stretch here. I don't see him going anywhere.
So we've seen now Dallas Turner, some signs of life. Maybe a resurgence from JJ the second half. Does that get Quezzy through into the next season?
Maybe.
I think so.
It definitely hurt or helps.
That I feel like he might need that. And Dallas Turner, like, yeah, you're starting to see, we're seeing the vision a little bit. He was pretty productive on Sunday, and the signs are there. It looks like. The
But
problem,
at
the issue,
same time, it's all high picks that he's getting right. Those are easy picks. We can make those on the couch, first and second round picks. It's like we get where you earn your pay is like the third, fourth, fifth round where you find those guys or those undrafted guys that we always seem to bring in too.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't always made the layups either. That's the thing. Like, he's got a few now, maybe that he can tack on.
No, I'm just saying, you can't give him credit for making layups, even though apparently they're hard in Minnesota. Shout out.
No, I agree.
Shout out, Ant.
And then I don't know that. I mean, this is a huge draft then, based on how this season is going. If you got 10 picks, we even had picks in a couple of years, at least. I think going into the draft, we've always been on the short side, less than the amount of rounds in the draft. We've been making trades and kind of mortgaging the future a little bit with the picks for obvious reasons. Cam Akers has cost us a pick a year, it seems like. But then it's like, well, you don't know if you trust this guy to make all these selections. Here's 10 in the next draft with a top 10 pick, most likely, in a pivotal season. It's like, oh man, do you cut the cord, before you give him a chance to fuck that up? Tough decision coming, I think. But or is he due? It's like at some point you're going to hit on some guys, but his misses are just like this receiver we took, Ty Felton.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't heard a peep out of that dude at any point. One of the few picks. I guess, who was the other guy? Donovan Jackson. He was the first rounder this year.
Yeah, he's
all
solid.
right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't throw him as like a bust at this point yet, but
no, if you can get a guard,
but again, first rounder.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the layup. But if you can get a, what was he, like the 24th pick? I mean, a guard that starts for you for a handful of years, that's solid. And we have been pretty shitty with guards over the past, 5-6 years. We've not had good guard play at all. So I would say so far with that guy, it's been a good pick. But again, those are the ones you should be hitting on.
If he messes this one up, and if he does stay and they give him one more crack at it, like, this is it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then he might be out after
non-negotiable.
that. Yeah. So I think the leash is getting pretty short. Traveling to Green Bay, pretty bad vibes going in there. I'm going to own a little bit. I've been putting JJ and DraftKings millionaire lineups every week, just sinking this kid's future. So I might have to just get out of that. I got a big
Jordan
curse.
Love in there. What are you doing?
I will. Don't you worry about that. I'll be having some money on these swine for sure. But the problem is, like, these McCarthy, like, they're begging you to keep doing it because Addison's cheap, McCarthy's basically free, and Jefferson's not very high price. So it's like, it's just the easiest stack ever. And then Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, Jalen Naylor, they're the ones scoring all the touchdowns. So you can see what I'm getting at here with, as soon as I pick something, there's a chance. It's a very high chance it'll be a disaster. So he's had that weight that he's had to carry around for a few weeks. So maybe just for the sake of experiment and giving us a chance on the road. Like, we don't have a whole lot to play for the rest of this season. We're trying to develop him, but a win in Green Bay is about our Super Bowl. Would you guys agree with that?
Always.
Like, that would go a long way, because they fucking suck. Let's be real. You were shitting on the Bears to kick off the pod.
Yeah, who's better? Swine or the Bears? They're both.
The NFC North. The floor is collapsing out up from underneath all these teams. The Lions are not even in playoffs right now.
Bizarre.
So it's been a weird season. We've said this too, like, just throughout the league, not a lot of good teams out there. Everybody's kind of, I feel like, in the same class, and there's some real shitty teams. Who would you even say is the best team? Rams at this point?
Rams.
And like Denver, they're not out there really impressing anybody. Daniel Jones led Colts. Wonder how that'll work in the playoffs. Then you got, like you mentioned earlier, Jake, too, Darnold, trusting that guy in the playoffs. I guess Philly, you could say, even though we really need to, we got to ban that squad from national televised games. Like that's unwatchable sport. I can't get involved with any of that shit. I'm glad I didn't watch much of it, but they're just killing fantasy teams everywhere. So what are we trying to see against Green Bay? Just one win and celebrate a Super Bowl and call it a season.
I told you I'll be on here for my swine apology session next week, but I can't even joke about it's fun joke about the Bears and whatever, but like, man, is Josh Jacobs even going to play? I don't know what his prognosis was.
I hope not.
But he's the only player on their team, on their offense, where I'm like, okay, like he's probably their best player on their offense. But even that, you're like, is he even that good? I don't know, man. Every game for them is the same. It's like 13-10 or 17-13. They come back at the last second and win. It's disgusting. So we'll probably have a lead in the fourth, I would imagine.
Blown lead. What about Christian Watson? Healthy. Ugh. What a talent. Tight. No respect. No waiver claims.
Jake, I'm gonna pivot to you on that one. What's your Christian Watson hot take?
I think he's better than Justin Jefferson, man. Clearly. That's all we heard for the first year of his career.
After that 75-yard drop.
Sadly, I think he makes Jordan Love worse, because Jordan Love has like one of the worst deep balls in the league, and that's all Christian does is just run that deep route. So if you wanted to have Love thrown off his back foot all game, it's just asking for disaster.
I will say he did have the touchdown he caught was a pretty sick catch, but that's about the best thing I've ever seen him make. It's just always like, he had, what was that one year? He had like 7 touchdowns and he only had like 35 catches or something. It's like, okay, cool. I don't. What are you, like a touchdown vulture here? You're like a backup running back? I don't know, man. I go on for days about these swine. I don't see it. I don't see it.
6.5-point favorites with a despicable 41.5 total. I mean, it's
under.
They're expecting some ugly ball.
Yeah.
Under. And my guy Emmanuel Wilson finally getting hopefully the start. I don't even know if Jacobs is going to be out yet. It sounded like for a knee, leaving with a knee, it was about as good of a report as you could get coming back. So maybe he will play. Maybe they'll look at it as like, hey,
a nice sit spot for him against us.
Yeah, exactly. we can
be the smart move.
Hold you out here.
Well, and like you don't want to mess around with knee injuries either, because didn't Tucker Kraft, he tore his ACL, right?
Yeah.
Is that accurate? So, but he had a knee injury like a few weeks before that in practice. It was kind of scary, and they like just ran him back out there. Have some Wolves training staff over there.
Yeah.
I don't know, for the Chargers, I wouldn't be messing
high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
Just like JJ, he rushed him back a week early, and now he's out for the season.
Yeah, man. You don't want to.
Carson Wentz, another cautionary tale. Ooh. Starting a literal dead person at quarterback on national television.
It somehow looked better than JJ. It's weird.
I know. Now Christ. All right. I'm anybody else got any football thoughts? We can then switch over to some T-Wolves talk.
Yeah, let's pivot.
Nope. Nothing.
So, news of today, Jaden McDaniels questionable tomorrow night. Left wrist sprain. Late addition to the agenda here tonight. I can't remember the exact play. I do remember that he did get up kind of like, flexing his wrist. I think it was early in the game. He continued the rest of the game, but playing the Wizards, just hold him out. We got a big cup game on Friday. We need all hands on deck.
Need everybody there.
So at least, questionable tag isn't like too much
shooting hand or not?
I think it's his left wrist. Okay. Let me see if I don't know if they
leads the league in 3-point percentage, by the way.
That's
as of last night.
Insane.
And he hit like 3 in a row. Either it must have been like late third quarter. It was like 3 straight trips in a row down the court. Hit a 3. I was like, man, Where did this come from? I'm loving it. Loving every
It's
single second
so
of this.
awesome. I know
We've
we used to
been-
tell him to stop shooting
I
3-pointers
know.
last year.
We've
I
been
don't care how open you are.
We've been preaching on and running the Jaden train for a long time, man, and it is so fun to see it like just really taking off now.
Think about that final game last year against OKC where they're like, we'll just leave you in the corner. We don't care at all about your offense. It's like, well, let's see how that works this year because we got to have him killing them. And
Denver tried doing that too. To
they
us.
were hiding
We just, for some
Jokic
reason,
on him.
didn't pass him. Yeah.
Yeah, that brings us to main thing we were going to talk about. What's going on with these games against like above 500 teams? 0-5, I think, so far this year. 2 against Lakers, 2 against Denver. What was the other one? Knicks.
Yep.
What do you attribute that to?
Like I wouldn't be worried. Like I'm not worried by any means. If we were losing to bad teams, I'd be a little more worried about how they're playing. But you don't want to create excuses. But it's a small sample size. We're 9-5. The 5 losses, ass whooped by the Lakers in Game 2 of the season. We watched that one together. It was just they just killed us. They made a bunch of shots. 2 Nuggets losses in back-to-backs. Denver had rest. One of those games, Ant was out. And then, you said the Knicks game, that was Ant's first game back. And the Lakers L here we played like shit, but they won on a buzzer beater. They shot a crazy percentage. I don't know. I'm not tripping about these kind of games. Again, like you don't want to create the excuses, but there's some there. Like it's not like Denver's coming in on back-to-back. It's a completely different situation. So, but they're dominating the bad teams. So 9-5 early season, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's nothing too concerning. I don't think it's just poor timing from bad games from people. Like Ant's been atrocious these last couple of games, and it just brings the whole rest of the team down. Not that he's bad or anything. It's just you just sometimes just get in those ruts. I feel like, and he just happens to be in one right now.
Game. Yeah.
Yeah, he's allowed. He's human. He's allowed to not shoot 30 points every single night. So yeah, it's nothing really too crazy. We'll see as the season goes on if it actually turns into something. But as of right now, no, I think we're just fine in the West.
The most recent one against Denver, that was the first one I felt like where it was okay. We just missed all these shots. Him and Dante, I don't know what they were, 1 for like 15 from threes. Like that's how many times is that going to happen? And yeah, Ant was bad, and they were putting, like we said, Jokic was on Jaden, and it's like, dude, you gotta. I don't care what the plan is to run the offense. Like you got to make an adjustment on the fly and be like, hey, we can't allow them to do that, man. Like, yeah. This is the whole point of having him emerge as a third option, right? For that exact situation. And you might be able to get Jokic a foul or 2 on him. And he had 3 or 4 in the middle of that game too. So I didn't like how that went. They just seemed, the turnovers are just still, it's like they don't really have a sense of the moment of like, hey guys, I know you want to play with pace. Offense is fun. We've had a high offensive rating throughout this year. Just dial it back a little bit and quit making some of the dumbest fucking turnovers. But that's just in their DNA, I guess. So it's like, how do you work around it? You make a bunch of threes to try to make up for it, I guess. But they've historically always been good against above 500 teams, and it's been the shitty teams that get us. Mm-hmm. So at some point they'll figure it out. I think in the first week or 2, we saw it. We've talked about how bad the defense was. Nobody really seemed to be trying to dig in on that end of the court until absolutely necessary. And, they tried against the Lakers in the game at Target Center. It was too late against the Knicks. They just blew us out in the third. It wasn't like they just stomped us right out of the gate. We were up 10 in the, first half at one point, but they'll figure it out. But the problem is not a problem, but like, we don't get many chances for the next couple of weeks. Like OKC, big cup game next Wednesday. But like there's a Spurs game coming up. Their whole team just got put on the injury report today. So it's like, that maybe that's just life in the NBA. And, beat the shitty teams on your schedule, see how many wins you got at the end of the year, and worry about that later, I suppose. But
there's only so much you can control. I mean, Wemby now is out for a little bit. I mean, in the East, Giannis is out 1 to 2 weeks, it sounded like today.
Yep.
It just is what it is. You know, and you, just
Castle.
have to, you can only play who's the team's put in front of you. So the other thing is like that I don't really worry too much about the over 500 teams and whatever is you just look at the last 2 years in the playoffs when the stakes are high, they step up. So I don't think there's any real reason to worry about that.
Yeah. And Jim Peterson keeps mentioning that on the broadcast of like, this is kind of how Finch, he'll figure it out throughout the season with, you know, what he needs to do to get this team playing their best by the time it is postseason. Problem is just like, you know, OKC will be one. They're the 1 seed already. Like they probably got a magic number already counting down the way they got out of the gates already without even Jalen Williams. And then Denver's probably, I mean, you could maybe track them down at some point. But I think 2-3 seed is going to be important. Get on the other side of that bracket. We're going to be having the same conversation about the Wolves with the Thunder every year of like, just get either the 2, 3, or the 6 and stay out of the play-in. And then you don't have to see them until the conference finals. But
we got a little bit on that too. One thing that Silver's also fucking up with this league is just conferences and divisions, man. Like OKC, Thunder, Denver Nuggets, and the Wolves all in the same division, guys. How cool would that be? Like storyline wise, like you have to get the top spot to get home field kind of a thing, or you're whatever. Like if you're the second place in our division, you're not getting the 2 or 3 seed. So it makes it worth fighting for a little more instead of just a blob, whatever. We're just thrown in with the rest of them. So I don't know. That's another thing Silver's fucking up is just lazy seeding is just why do we even have conferences, man? Just put 1 through 16.
They
just
should
throw them all out there. Just get rid of it. Doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
Randomize the schedule every year. Then
we've been going over this since like Michael Jordan. The East, ever since he retired, like the East has been fucking way worse than the West for a couple of decades now. So maybe you can adjust the schedule a little bit and have more of an overall balance between East and West, and then just take the 16 best teams. He's always tweaking shit and just his little pervy tournaments he's trying to create and all these all-star game dumbass ideas that he comes up with. Get rid of these conferences. You've got 8 of the, coming into the season, right? It was definitely, you would have thought 8 teams in the West would have been in the top like 11 in the league, or maybe even 10. People were thinking the Magic could be the 3. I guess Detroit has kind of emerged as being good. So I don't know what they would do for that, but they used to have a thing. If you won your division, maybe they still do, you get at least a top 4 seed.
I don't think it matters anymore.
I don't think it matters anymore.
Yeah,
it used to matter though. You used to get for sure a home court series in the first round, but now
a couple of years ago we had 1, 2, and 3 all in our division.
Yeah, if you look at if you like go to Google and just type in NBA standings, it just brings up Western Conference, Eastern Conference. It's like a lot of people probably don't even know that divisions exist. I'm dead serious. They probably don't.
Yeah.
Casuals. It is a left wrist sprain for Jaden. I did pull it up, so that's definitely better. And I think it must have been he stayed in and was cashing threes, so
yeah,
not too worried about that for him. Wizards Bugaboo squad. We need Ant to go
one of our biggest threats.
Go get in rhythm, man. Get a 50-piece. Head of a road cup game in Phoenix. I guess they technically, I believe, are above 500. So maybe that's a good opportunity to get a cheap one in the win column. Get off the schneid a little bit here, as we're all just bitching about standings. Here I am just clicking on standings to see where they're at.
See where it's at.
Six.
What's the divisional race looking like?
They're 8-6. So unless somehow they have
Suns. Yep.
Yes, the Suns are 8-6.
Not the Wizards.
I think they'll be at least above 500 by the time we play them, I would think, unless they have like a Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back that they just get smoked on. But they've been, I guess, a little surprising. But you shouldn't be losing to the Suns. I throw them as a bad team. The record is the.
What do you mean? Go on X, man. Devin Booker is better than Ant.
Devin Booker, Mark Williams, and company.
I think we always get fired up for the Phoenix games anyway. Just team wise, Wolves just I think like to play them, like to beat them. So
Yeah,
And
Devin
we'll
Booker's
come
little
ready,
bitch,
and it's the
so-
cup, so like all stakes are on line.
you need any motivation in a cup game? You don't got any heart.
You shouldn't need any.
Add in Dylan Brooks to that Suns team as well,
Oh, I
and it's just
forgot
gonna
about
it's
that.
just gonna be
Oh,
some
yeah.
nonsense for
He-
sure.
Two of my
He,
most
like-
hated in the NBA on one squad.
If you go look at like their box scores, he shoots the ball way too much. I like just welcome that.
he
Good.
is an improved shooter. I will say that.
He's just a pain in the ass.
From
Yeah.
trash
you're
to
right.
kind of not horrible.
Yeah, Jake, you're right. Brooks
Improvement.
and Devin Booker, just two assholes on the same team.
They 8-6, yeah. So you gotta take care of business in cup play. We're sitting kind of in the driver's seat. That game against
We are.
OKC is going to be
What an honor.
for the group. But a couple of the ass beatings that we've handed out so far, our point differential, unless we lose to Phoenix and OKC, which that would at least, I mean, the silver lining to me would be like, all right, we're not going to have to advance in this dumbass cup. But hey, there could be a banner and a little wire transfer at the end of it.
Yeah, why not?
Think about the NBA Cup championship T-shirts we could maybe get. I don't know if those exist.
I would 100% be getting one.
Or runner-up one would be even better.
That'd be pretty sick too.
Perfect.
Don't send those overseas to kids. I'll take them. I'll take them all off your hand.
I'll pay full price. Yeah.
I don't know what the point differential is exactly, but I got to imagine
We're plus 54.
How does that compare to like other groups in the West?
way ahead,
by
right?
far
we are.
higher.
Okay,
I think the next
figured.
team was like 38 or something like that. So
when you get a 40-point win, that helps.
Yeah, we got up on the Jazz like 30 in the, like moments into cup play. It was like shit. It's gonna be hard to not advance, but that'll give you some more chances maybe to play against some better teams and see how you stand. I think those guys want to go to Vegas. I think Dylan Brooks, hopefully that brings out some of the dog in Ant. We saw those two going at it, I think, at Target Center last year. I don't think it was cup play, but Ant was like, he went off on him, right? Like he finally was just cooking on that dude. Driver's seat, cup play. That OKC game is going to be huge. What else we got? We finally got Naz Reid with a pulse. That's the other thing I wanted to bring up.
Couple good games in a row.
Just a little rust out of the gate for understandable reasons. So not even tripping on him at all. But he was the one guy who did show up against Denver. That was good to see.
Nobody else wanted to play.
Yeah, he does. Sometimes I'll think about that too when
we're purple jellies.
Those purple, yeah, the big jerseys.
You know what's funny is when that game started and the whole aura, that overused word of just like the purple in there and then everything. I was like, man, this would be a game we need Naz Reid to go off. Like just him and the Prince jerseys and stuff. Like, man, that would be that'd be it. And he had a great game. And then obviously last night he was hitting everything last night, so that was good to see. Good to see him string a couple together.
Yeah, keep it rolling.
Much needed. Really needed, actually.
Another good opportunity Wednesday against these Wizards. It's that game last night against Dallas. You know, it's awesome having this team that we have. It's such a, we're big fans of a lot of these guys, like having Ant, Jade, and all these dudes on our team is so freaking awesome. But that's the NBA when like their whole front line for Dallas is out. Hard to get up and really care about that one. It was a tough watch for a lot.
No, you didn't like watching D'Lo last night turn the ball over?
I've seen enough. I didn't realize he was 1-10 in Target Center games since the trade. I think he must have got one with the Lakers like shortly after we traded him away. I'm thinking, but
probably a game where he played 5 minutes in garbage time.
Yeah, 3 turnovers still.
Yeah.
Last Wolves thing I want to throw out there. What are your thoughts on Ant jumping into guys now and getting some calls? Play that game now. What do you think?
I had this conversation the other day, and the first couple times he did it, was that in the Denver game? I'm trying to remember what game it was, but he did it twice in that game, and I was like, I'm not loving that. The one thing I will say is the guys that do that from time to time, it doesn't bother me as much. It's like the guys that do it all the time when Joel Embiid is always on the floor or Shea is always on the floor. If you start turning to that, Brunson's another one. Brunson apparently gets hit in the head on every screen. Like he's just always falling down. If you start getting into that, then I think we got a little more of a problem. If it's just here and there, it just is what it is. It doesn't really bug me quite as much.
Yeah, I don't think it was very minimal. We didn't really see much of it in the last game against Dallas. So I think it was just a one-off thing. Let me see if I can do this. He said he's been watching the James Harden tape. We just didn't know how much. So
yeah. Seeping into his game. The jump into the guy who's already in the air, who's bit on your fake, to me it's a different category than some of the other bullshit where like we've seen SGA, he'll just fall down. Mm-hmm. Right. That type of shit. I don't think you're ever going to see
the head back,
the whip the head back type stuff.
Yeah.
Like the get the defender in the air and jump into him. Even before this era of flopping, which is the worst it's ever been. And next year will be the worst it's ever been until Silver grows a fucking sack
or dies.
Yeah, either way. Either way will work. That's been going on for forever, right? And this is what we always want them to do is clean up the officiating. They did make changes to that because we saw Kevin Love utilize that move quite a bit. And I can't remember the exact point, but when they would eliminated when you could jump to the side. Like if the guy is to the side of you and he's in the air, you can't just like completely go out of out of your normal lane.
That was the Chris Paul rule, I believe, is when they changed that. It's because of him.
He was repeat offender for sure. So both the ones we saw from Ant were like pretty straightforward. And Peterson's talked about this too on the air too, and I agree. And I don't think it gets mentioned a lot, but Ant does have a pretty good pump fake. So you can just still see like as a 24-year-old, there's a lot still to develop within his game for as good as he already is. And getting to the line, this to me, it's like don't hate the player, hate the game situation. This is the game you've created, Silver. And as much as I hate flopping, we all do. I mean, let's keep it to a minimum. I can live with those, but it's like, you know what? If, like you said, watching Harden tape, boy, it's a slippery slope. Like talk to me here and tough. See what he's up to. I don't want to know, but I wouldn't feel good about it. I don't want to have to resort to that. I take pride in the fact that our team doesn't engage in that bullshit.
Can't beat him, join him. Yeah,
I know. I hate that. I hate that shit.
Yeah, me too.
I hope we don't get worse about that because I don't think we like Mike. He'll sell.
He's the only one. Yeah,
illegal screens, but like
veteran move out of him.
Those are illegal. Like he's getting cracked out there all the time on these screens. Other than that, there isn't really. I mean, Julius maybe a little bit once in a while. He'll kind of do like a sweep through in the lane, but compared to other teams and certainly compared to OKC and the Joel Embiids of the world, we're not even in the same like stratosphere as all that nonsense. So Wizards, Suns, and then guess what? Could you believe it? We got the Kings again. I think it's the next three.
Can't wait.
Oh man. Can we be done?
Get them out the way. Bang
DeMar,
out the
How much DeMar DeRozan am I gonna have to fucking watch?
Well, you're probably gonna watch either him or Levine. I don't know if they play him 3 or 4 times, but we'll get them this third time, and then DeRozan will probably get traded at the deadline, and we'll probably see him 2 more times somewhere else.
Yeah, the Joe Flacco of the NBA.
So lucky.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Oh, sweet. Actually, I had one more thing. I don't know if you guys saw this. You can hop over to my X page. Someone posted just this graphic of like rim protection shots, frequency of shots against versus like the opponent's field goal percentage at the rim. Rudy still is like far and away one of if not the best like rim defenders in the league. And I think you just watch him enough, and there's so many times they're like you just expect him to block every shot. And then the one he gets is like a floater. He'll just grab out of midair for an obvious goaltend. But like,
was sick.
that's one of those things I said I'm eye test guy. These are the things that are like, all right, you know what? The analytics still value him as a rim protector. And this has been talked about a lot this season, is just his on off our defense without him on the court. And you see stuff like this and you're like, well, this is why. Like, he shuts off the lane on offense and defense.
Yeah.
But he's been playing good. I don't want to kill him too much. We'll save the
True.
Twins coaching staff bingo card, whatever the hell this is I'm looking at. We'll do this
For a
another
snowy
time.
night in December, maybe.
Yeah. A real snowy one. But let's just do some shout outs and hit the road. Jake, you got anything from this week that you wanted to call out?
Yeah, shout out to A-Rod and Lori. Sounds like they filed the trademarks to rebrand the Wolves, get some new jerseys going in for next year. So hopefully that goes by league approval. We get some new jerseys up in here. Mainly just keeping two of the ones we got already. That's fine with me if we keep the Prince and the black trees, but get rid of those white and blues, the association ones or whatever they are.
Yeah.
So that's kind of tight. I'm looking forward to that. I always like me some new drip.
What are we wanting? Just all trees, white, blue, black?
Sure,
like
that's
like
I'm
old
fine with
days?
that. Or if we can start bringing back some of the older ones, like this hat I have here. I wouldn't mind that blue one. That one is fine.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Classics. I think it'd be cool if they could do some sort of spin with the trees and the classics kind of together. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Get some mocks up. But it's crazy. Like, the ones we still have, those association ones, like, we had those with Jimmy Butler when he was here.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe how long these have stuck around for as plain as they are.
First saw that, I was like, man, we are already gonna do this. I was like, wow, fuck, we've had them for pretty close to
Like
10
a
years. I
decade?
bet now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
As soon as you said filed, I was like, what? Oh, bankruptcy? Are we already in trouble?
They filed. Oh, no.
A-Rod is
Oh,
out of
God.
money.
Oh, crap.
Good run.
I got a shout out here for I want to shout out our boy Nikhil, man.
Man,
And for those of you guys who didn't see this, like,
I'm gonna cry.
this was just such an awesome performance by him. Sunday night, Atlanta's playing Phoenix. Just over 8 minutes to go. Phoenix was up 21 points. Nikhil was going to the line. From there on out, they just go on this crazy run to end the game. Scored 16 points in the final 8 and change. And they had a 2-point victory in regulation, 47-27, fourth quarter on the road. That's just awesome to see him still, doing his thing. Tim, pick up the phone, man. If you feel like it, feel interested.
Is Nikhil,
Mr. Dog,
of the bench players we had last year, Nikhil, Nas, and Dante, is Nikhil actually the best of all three?
like
might
overall, he might be. I don't know. Because Nas and Dante do like one specific thing where Nikhil can do a litany of things. We're wondering about a backup point guard right now. Like how's Rob? How's Mike? Dante's not really a point guard, and I'm like, man, kind of wish we still had Nikhil. He wasn't like the greatest ball handler, but that's what he's doing now for the Hawks too. So
by our standards, he was.
Yeah,
he was our best we had.
We do miss Nikhil, man. But
he
that
did
was
all
awesome
right in that Thunder series. Like, he had some drives to the bucket. Like, that's what I'm looking for, and he's out the door.
Yeah.
I got two. One quick one, Jalen Clark. We haven't mentioned him yet. We've been talking Wolves. Like, every week we got to keep mentioning him. Like, it won't surprise me if he ends up in the starting lineup, man. If you just slide those Dante bench points or points to the bench, fill that void. But the guy just gets, like, we'll keep saying it. Everything is just additive, and you don't got to call a single play for the guy. He'll go get it all on his own. Just extra credit shit in the backcourt. He'll wrestle a loose ball away. Like, this is exact shit we need and exact what we're missing with Nikhil. So, and the threes will start falling. He's got a good shot. But my main one is go for men's basketball. Boy, did they dodge a bullet. Playing the Swine Saturday night. The Wolves game had just wrapped up. So I'm like, all right, the weird 8:00 tip, I think, at the barn. We've got Nico Medved, new hire, a new ushering in a new era. And you couldn't tell if it was Target Field or the barn. There were so few people in the seats. But I think they shot on high volume, about 45% from the line. So that's usually about standard for college basketball. Buzzer beater in regulation to win it is called off. It was just a second late. So it was just the craziest, goofiest shit.
Not to mention it was like over a half court shot.
It was it was a
bomb. Yeah.
Which, side note, NBA, one thing I'll give them credit for, I am enjoying the heaves they're coming at the end of these quarters. It's good to, why not? Way to allow that to happen. So this is a bad basketball team, this Gopher unit. Not going to be watching much of them. If they want to pop up and get a couple early wins in the Big Ten, maybe we'll see. And if he can develop some of these guys throughout the year, we'll be monitoring the situation from afar. But that's a bad basketball team. We'll obviously give this guy time. But why is it so hard for this university to ever have a good basketball team? I don't understand that.
It's mind-boggling.
With all the talent coming out of Minnesota these days.
It's just every cycle we go through the same shit every 5 years. And you're lucky if you can scratch your way into a 10 seed, win against the 7, throw the parade, and then 2 days later just get the shit beat out of you by a real 2 seed. Like the bar is so low. I don't get it, man. It's too bad. And maybe it's just like, whatever. We got Ant. The Wolves are sick. Who has the time to watch both of these teams? But like, dude, I would watch college bat. Like that's
I watch college ball over NBA ball.
They don't flop. Like it's a much better product to sit through, actually, like from that standpoint. I mean, nobody can make a free throw if that's what you're into, but
the talent level drops off a little bit.
The shooting is just not good, but I don't know. Did we not realize what we had in Little Dick? He went on to New Mexico and has done some things with them, but maybe the Big Ten was too tough for him. Is it a financial thing now? We hired Ben Johnson, like, I don't know if that was right after 2020, and he was supposed to be this guy that had the pipeline to the Minnesota players. We heard all that narrative. And then the NIL shit gets dropped on him, and it's like, well, I mean, that doesn't really apply anymore. We recruited Pharrell Payne, and then he went to Texas Tech or Texas A&M for like $400,000 or something. So I've heard rumors that we don't have the spend or whatever. This is a massive university. How do we not have anybody, opening the checkbook for any of these players? And I'm guessing it's just nobody cares. Right. They've been this way for so long. Like we would have been go back to the late 90s. Cheat however you can. I don't care. Get me some good players on the court, man, because it's looking bad.
Sam Jacobson, where you at?
Where you at, Quincy
Bobby
Lewis?
Jackson. I saw Bobby Jackson on the Kings bench. He's part of that staff.
Is he really?
It's looking like he's put on a few.
They just brought that whole team back for
yeah, right.
Just to be fired. I mean, Chris Humphreys was a one and done. Does he have any eligibility? Can we try his carcass out there for 20 minutes? He can get 13 and 10.
Kardashian money somewhere stashed away that he can help us get in.
Pay for somebody, man. It's just,
come on.
I don't know, man. Like, you heard a lot of good things about this coach, Medved. We'll see. I'm not saying this is his fault or anything. You got to give him time, but the initial, shopping spree for this squad, this iteration, not good. So don't bother. All right. With that positivity, we'll call it a pod. Wizards, big game tomorrow night. Obviously NBA Cup. We're glued to it. We're eyeing the merch already. Sizing
no more
it up.
Bright green cord, thank God.
Oh my! I wonder what the Suns have. I bet you theirs is pretty tough. Bright orange. I don't know. Who knows what they got? Another silver feather in his douchey cap. Weasel. All right. Thanks for tuning into the live stream, gang. We are out. This will be up on YouTube if you want to go back to it. Apple and Spotify as well. So circle back if you so choose. All right, fellas. Good stuff. We'll see you next week. Peace.